Oh, why hello there. Hi there. My name's Candy, and I don't always look so frightening, but I am here in my studio. Candi-Land, Candi-Land. I am very happy to say that after several days of hard work, actually it's been a few days. I'm not gonna lie, this is not a simple thing. I completely removed everything, rewired everything, and I even put little like connecty tie doobly doops on the cables, so it's not a big horrible mess anywhere. Am I tired? Yes. Am I happy? Also yes. I am pretty much done. I'm still going to have to reset up the all those video stuff, which is why you are looking at me on my phone in my hand, and also why actually everything's left and right and left and entirely wrong. You know the way these things go. Sometimes you just have to accept that everything is wrong. Backwards in an upside down world. However, I do want to do, I don't even know if I can put this down anywhere. I am here after several days of plugging everything in and making sure everything works. Everything is synced. Everything works. The only thing I just figured out just now as I went to do some, I often have my old, very old, Elisa's D4, which is right over there, that little one. The D4, it has basically it has every drum machine and drum sound you could possibly want from the last 50 years. The thing's like 30 years old, but I'm sorry, an 808 and a 909 still sound like an 808 and a 909. And it has every single one of those sounds in there. And I do like to use these sounds sometimes. Why buy a new drum machine when you have every possible drum machine sound ever made? Up until that point, of course. Delicious dirty water. Actually, today I'm on the wine because I made pizza. I made delicious pizza, and I needed red wine to make my sauce, because of course I do everything from scratch, because that's me. My name is Candy, and I cook everything from scratch. What was I saying? I had a little bit of wine. I've been at this for days. Okay, yes. And when I just went to go like this, and go tingly, 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 ting, which I usually have set up to have on various symbols and stuff going through the D4, I just realized, okay, that's the one thing I haven't plugged in yet. I gotta throw a MIDI cable onto that sucker so that I can go tingly ting and dingly doo and all that stuff. However, everything else works. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. We're gonna start all the way over here. This, in fact, is a fabulous game controller. This is from, like, what's it called? Rockstar? No, Rock whatever. It's the video game where you have a pretend guitar and a pretend keyboard. It's also a keyboard version. This is the keyboard. It also has MIDI. So, it's like a guitar. I could wear this with my little strappy strap and play it, and sometimes I do. But also, I have it set up on this sort of like, it's like a Roland Jupiter, I can't remember if it's a Jupiter 4 or a Jupiter 8. Doesn't matter. Very similar. The sound I love is this, and it's always there. And I love that sound, and it's great for bass, and I often jam out when I'm playing with other people, not when I'm by myself, because what's the point? Also over here, we have this. This is the first controller keyboard that I bought when I started playing again. It is in fact a Donner, who make it's a Chinese company that makes cheaper keyboard. They actually make some cool stuff now, but at the time they were known as making cheap shit. The thing is, they're full-size keys, which I like because I can actually play keys, right? So full-size keys, not these weird mini keys. And although the thing is actually quite primitive, in other words, you can't automatically change MIDI channels and stuff from it. You can't use this as it's not very versatile. However, it has 4 knobby knobs that you can assign, 4 buttons, and then of course the pads, which at this point are they're just hooked up to like MIDI notes. So I can sound all cool and just go. If I so desire. It also has your basic pitch wheel and your mod wheel. The thing I love about this is I absolutely love the Mellotron. There's a few sounds I like in the Mellotron, but the one I really love is the flute. This is psychedelic rock and roll and prog from my childhood. And I absolutely love the sound, and this is that sound of that flute. And it's the same sound that was used on the Beatles, was it Strawberry Fields? Bloop, 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 that one. But, don't know if can I do this with one hand? I have it so that the flute sound is there, but if I use the mod wheel, it turns it into, I think it turns it into 3 cellos, and then into low string or something. So I can also do like stuff, or just like a low cello-y kind of, or just go right back to my very favorite, which is just absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much. Also, did I mention I have some red wine this evening? I'm not drinking it out of a wine glass, which I actually think is sacrilege. However, in the studio, the number of wine glasses that have been broken, the little thin, no wine glasses in the studio. You're gonna drink wine in the studio, gotta use the rock glass. So right underneath the delicious, we also have this wonderful Wurlitzer. This Wurlitzer home organ. Now, I don't have the exact date on this organ, but this version came out in the late 60s and was continued to be made in the 70s. When this one is from, who knows? It has a built-in spring reverb, so if you kick the side, you'll hear the but it also has a built-in synthesizer. Now, synthesizer is a big word, especially when you're talking about back here, because if I turn off the effect, here's my synthesizer. Which doesn't sound very synthesizer-y, but as weird as you can get is if I push up these two the most, and then it gets like this. Which, you know, not the most beautiful thing, but hey, it's called an orbit synthesizer, and somehow the cheese factor is good. Now, the actual organ sounds like shit. However, it does have some built-in rhythms. Let's go with the, what do we have here? Let's go with it. Nope. Oops, I've forgotten how to start it. Okay, no, it doesn't matter. The rhythms are terrible. I'll show the rhythms on the other one. However, I do have this, which sounds like this. Which does not sound great. However, if I put it through this little pedal I have, all of a sudden it turns into a church organ. You see what I mean? Which is kind of cool. I use this one for the churchy organ stuff. Now we're going to move over to the next bit, because literally everything is plugged in, except for those drums. And up here, we have this delicious monosynth, which also happens to be a keytar. Yes, in the 80s, people bought these things and they wore them like, I'm playing keyboards with a guitar strap and I'm so cool. Which of course is hilarious and terrible, but also really cool. It's also an absolutely amazing monosynth. I do not have an original. I have the Behringer recreation of it. Recreation, clone, rip-off, whatever you want to call it. I don't give a flying fuck behind anything. All I know is I got it on sale, and it sounds amazing. I only have the one hand here because I'm holding the camera, but I'll turn up the volume a bit. And it has a couple of unlike the original, it has a couple of extra things, like there's built-in frequency modulation, so you can get nasty. And it has like whatever, and blah blah blah. Anyway, totally cool, love it. But right underneath that, oh my god, what's that? It's the Uno Synth Pro, which is like the Uno Synth, only it's more pro. And I had the regular version of it, the desktop version of it, which of course is much less expensive, considerably, which I also bought on sale. But however, after a few months, it just stopped working. I absolutely love the synth. I wouldn't call it a monophonic synth. It's paraphonic for sure. It has 3 voices. It's not polyphonic because each voice doesn't have its own filters, etc., etc. So, you know, it's kind of like an old synth. Gee, I'm not used to that. Anyway, it is analog and it has built-in digital effects. It sounds amazing, and I totally loved the desktop version. However, mine died, and so I wrote the company and I sent them a video and I said I don't understand what's wrong with it, and they said send it in, and I figured they would just, you know, send me back the same thing. But no, instead they sent me the full version, which was like a couple of $100 more than I spent. So I'm very happy. And I would actually say, if you're going to buy one, yes, the desktop version, amazing. It's an amazing analog synth with incredible effects. The reverb's the highlight, I think, but the other, you know, it has built-in, you have sort of like a drive circuit, you have a modulation circuit, so that could either be flanger, chorus, various versions, phaser, my favorite, although it doesn't get crazy enough for me, and the reverb. The reverb's amazing on it, and you can also patch it in with it has a mod matrix, so you can patch everything in. You can go crazy with this thing. However, if you get the full version with keyboard, although of course you could do this with another keyboard that has what's it called, that has aftertouch. This keyboard is a really good keyboard. It has aftertouch. I believe it's polyphonic aftertouch. I'm just trying to find a good sound that can show off what I'm talking about. Because I programmed, but I never use presets. I programmed a bunch of stuff. Oh, come on, where's one? Give me a sound. One I like. Where's something space? Where's space? Something space. I did. Low space. Oh, low space is cool. But it's not going to be. Not going to be what I'm going to show you, though. I'm going to show you. Okay, space should be good. Okay, so polyphonic aftertouch means if you press down a key, regular aftertouch, you press down a key and it can modulate things. You can assign it to something. Polyphonic aftertouch means you can do it to each key, which is really great. So on this one, turn it up a bit. You press, and I've got the filter opening up a tiny bit more, also like a pitch bend. So you got like oops, that's me distorting the system. Anyway, absolutely amazing synth. Absolutely love it. it's plugged in too. Oh, look at that. Oh, and there's my, there's my little, what is it? The B9. That's what I'm putting the other organs in. Over here, if we're getting kinky, we've got we've got the. This is also from Donner, and I'm not a huge fan of the TB303. It's like it's the acid synth. It was terrible. I almost bought one when they came out because I had a really cheesy, simple drum machine. I had a Dr. Rhythm, and even as terrible as it sounded, great hand claps, but as terrible as it sounded, I thought, oh, it'd be really cool to have to be able to put a bass line and a drum pattern together, you know, because I did weird music and I was a weirdo, so I wanted that. But then I played with the TB303 and I went, wow, this sounds like shit. Didn't sound anything like a bass at all, and it still doesn't. And who was it? It was Oscar Peterson, famous Canadian jazz pianist, was the spokesman. Made no sense at all. Anyway, not a brilliant sounding thing. However, because it sucked so bad, it was a failure, and then it ended up in a lot of pawn shops. Ended up in pawn shops, what happened? Poor musicians bought it, and then suddenly, boom, acid house happened. So people really like that. And anyways, this is like it's not a 303. This is the Donner synth bass, I believe it's called. And it basically has the sound, and it has the mods. Like it has, you have a choice between a sawtooth or a square wave. It has a built-in overdrive circuit and a built-in, I think it's an analog delay. It sounds like an analog delay. But it gets that squelchy, acidy thing. So like, okay, I'll throw on like, I'll do this. I'll make that stick. Here we go. So I'm just doing an arpeggiator, but it's like you can play with it. You can do that kind of stuff. But you can also get it going really stupid, like really crazy. And it makes all the turkey tweaky, whatever. You can do that or not. I tend not to do that. And I actually run it through my Electro Harmonics octave multiplexer, which is a really shitty octave pedal. But because it's a monophonic synth, it's only one note at a time. And it actually really fills out the bottom. It's almost like having a sub oscillator on it. So it has way more bottom end. Like it. All right. What else we got here? Well, we got the Crave. Crave is another Behringer synth. It's what is it? It's copy, ripoff, stolen, whatever, except with a different filter apparently. Of the Mother 32 Moog synthesizer, blah 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 thing in the rack. Blardy 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 blar. Weird form. It's like a desktop synth. However, sounds pretty fucking amazing. I'll put on this here. Look, there we go. Okay, now we're just gonna have like a droney drone. I can make it windy wind. I can make it notey notes. It can do all sorts of stuff. It also has like a sequencer, a very primitive sequencer. I hate sequencers on these things, they suck balls. Who wants that shit anyways? Anyway, really cool little monophonic synth that I will now turn off. We also have this is what made me even interested in the UnoSynth Pro, was the original UnoSynth. It was a super cheap, although it's a weird form factor and I don't like it's not very. I like knob per function. This one is a bitch, but sounded amazing. I was so happy with the sound of this thing. It's a mono synth, 2 oscillators, not at all like the UnoSynth Pro that you can actually do chords and 3-note chords and stuff. Not this one. However, I was so impressed with the sounds it can make. I don't even know what I have on here. Where are we at? Where are we at with this one? We're at nothing. It's not letting me. Oh, it's because it's on that. Okay, somewhere around 20, I think. Nope, 21? Yeah, okay. Here's a totally basic sound. I'm just gonna hit hold and... So, but it's an entirely analog synthesizer with an analog digital delay in it, or sorry, an analog delay in it. And you can... where's the resonance? Filter. Resonance? Drive. Yeah, you can... It's actually beautiful oscillators. It's brilliant for what it is, but yeah, it's limited. You're only gonna buy one, buy the Pro. But really good, and I believe I got it for like $100 or something. And of course, there's the Micro Freak. I love the Micro Freak. Micro Freak. Are we on a beat? Yeah, we are on a beat. I can start this. Can I? Yeah. Okay. So I thought I would absolutely hate the capacitance keyboard. I actually end up using it and thinking, well, that's actually kind of interesting. I prefer real keys. I like full-size, normal keys, because I'm a full-size, normal person. That's what I say anyways. Yeah, no, this... I'll put this on hold, and I'll just... It's Arturia. It's a brilliant digital synth. It has a bunch of synth engines in it. So you have like... you have FM, you have virtual analog, you have wavetable. There's not a sampler, but you can load your own samples, which I've done. And it's, in some ways it's limited, and in some ways it's absolutely fucking brilliant. It's very inexpensive, and it's very good. I would say this is the Micro Freak. Is it the Micro Freak? I keep on forgetting, screwing them up. Mini Freak? Micro Freak. This is a Micro Freak. The Mini Freak, a little bit more than this, a little bit more money. Also has like those tiny fucking keyboards that I hate, but also an absolutely brilliant synth. I played with one, but I don't own one. This one is great. The built-in sequencer and everything, amazing. And then of course, more Arturia. I love Arturia shit. Arturia is fucking rocking and killing it, man. I really wanted right now we're hearing like a heartbeat. I have every drum sound in the world. And I have drums. There's drums over there. I have drums. I can do with drums. I don't fucking need a drum machine. But I wanted a really good analog drum machine. Look what I got. I got an Arturia Drum Brute Impact. I didn't get a Drum Brute. Drum Brute was not so great. Drum Brute was... okay, fine, cool, and neat, blah, blah, blah. But this actually sounds better, and I think is a little more innovative. And if you program from it and don't just use it as a sound module, some of the I guess randomization and whatever stuff that you can set while you're working, fucking brilliant, sounds great, does a lot, has kick, snare. Kicks, two snares. One of the snares sort of turns into a clap. Not a great clap like the Dr. Rhythm I had, but close. You know, hi-hats, the cheesy, like what we're hearing right now, the boop boop, the heartbeat is the cheesy analog toms. And there is the hi-hat, blah blah blah. But it also has like one FM thing, which can be totally silly, like a do 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 do, or and there's different ways of doing it, and I'm actually using it 50% programming on it, so I can take advantage of the stuff I love about that, but also 50% I program from outside of it, from another thing, and I can access two versions of every sound, which is cool. That's all that. Over here, we're looking at the old, it's probably the weirdest, why do I leave it there? Oh, we've got, yes. This sound is called whistle. Here's my ESQ1. This is a 1980s synthesizer that, no, I was not the original owner. In fact, I had the sampler just after this one. I had my EPS. My old guitar player, Daryl, had this and the Mirage, which was the older version of the sampler. And he said, "You want to buy my Mirage?" And I said, "No, because it sucks." But I did buy this from him, which is hilarious, because that was a long time ago. Anyway, digital synthesizer, very primitive 8-track sequencer. At the time, it was absolutely brilliant. Has its limitations. However, it has an analog filter in it, and it actually sounds amazing. If I can quickly go to, no, I want to quickly go to something analogish sounding. Okay, fine, I'll go over here because I know it's there. All right, so here's a little something I programmed. I've always got pedals on the floor, by the way. So if you ever see me just doing this, it's not because I'm dancing, but I am dancing funny, but it's mostly because I got my foot on a controller. Anyway, where are we? Yeah, so it's just a song. And it even fakes a mini moog pretty good, like. Now it's not perfect, but it's brilliant. But I think the thing I like about this the most. Okay, how do I get out of here? Let me out of here. The thing I love most about this, the next keyboard that Ensoniq, this is an Ensoniq ESQ1. The next thing they came, you can back this up to cassette. And I don't mean like digital, I mean a cassette tape. The next version came with a floppy disk, and that was the SQ80. The SQ80 had more waveforms to work with than this one did. However, if you loaded up the highest waveform in the SQ80 into this synthesizer, you ended up with Wave 74, which I will find for you. There it is, Wave 74. Wave 74. So I think this had like about 30 wave samples to deal with. However, there were 74 in there, which you couldn't access unless you have Wave 74, and you go backwards. And some of them are musical and useful, and some of them are just fucking weird. But brilliant if you're into sound design. Don't get me started. You don't make your own fucking sounds, and you call yourself a musician? Fuck off. Anyway, Wave 74. This is Wave 74. Makes no sense. But underneath Wave 74 all the way down to whatever, 30 or whatever is the original number of the things were. Some of them are usable, some of them are sheer noise, some of them are chaotic, but absolutely brilliant. And if you find one of these, buy it and make sure you can get that Wave 74. Not too hard to get. This is going on way longer than I planned on. I was just going to say, look, Candi-Land, we're back almost. I didn't turn the smoke machine on. I got a couple more lights to hook up, and I have to reset up the video cameras again so I can go live. But I'm gonna, what the hell, I've started. So over here, we're in the monosynth section. This is where I have to say, hello, Behringer. Everyone bitches and complains and blah, blah, blah. They've cloned all this ancient synth shit that we could only dream of before. The one thing I don't have yet is that original Moog System 55, which I believe I would need like a couple of 100,000 to buy an original, or even the reissue that Moog did. Even the reissue was like fucking $50,000 or $100,000 or something. Fuck you, I can't afford that. I haven't got it yet, but I swear to God I'm getting a System 55. This is my dream synth. But they've also released other stuff. There's the Bizarro Wasp synth, monosynth from England that was released, small release. There's the cat synthesizer. Is the cat also from Europe? I don't know. Anyway, here's like a mini mode. It's a clone. Over here we've got Pro 1, which I actually think is the most the most boring of all of them. It does everything. It goes to whamp whamp. It does all the stuff you want, but it has the least character, as far as I'm concerned. Neutron, which I think is probably based on a few things, but it's actually like a Behringer original, and I hope they do more stuff like this because it's a fucking brilliant mono synth. It is weird and wonderful all at the same time. And then of course the clone of the Korg MS-20 up there. First synthesizer I ever played with was a Korg MS-10, which is like the cheap younger brother of the Korg MS-20. That was my friend Andy's, who we played with together for years. I did have an MS-20 for a while. I think he still has an MS-20, and I think he still has the MS-10, the originals. I think it's nasty, ugly, dirty filters, but fuck man, does it sound good. Now, okay, just to get boring, without making noise on all of them, because they all go wow wow. Down here, I've got a controller. Oopsie. I've got a controller that has all sorts of stuff on it. Mostly, I love the Selena. Obviously, I've got things turned up too loud, so it's crapping out the speaker. I haven't quite figured out all the volumes yet. There we go. And this is what this is Keylab 49. It's an older one. Someone gave it to me. But I actually bought Arturia V Collection X, which is I think the latest collection. I actually had a version of it before that someone gave to me, but I lost it. Anyway, blah blah blah. It was a long time ago, and I loved it. But I'm not huge on virtual instruments, but it can be convenient sometimes. And there's a couple of things like the Mellotron that I use a lot, and the Selena string machine. Behringer released a Selena thing, which is amazing, but I don't need it because all it does is this. This is all I need it for. Okay, maybe I'll buy it one day, but hey, right now I don't have the money for it. But I do love that. I also, yeah. So that's those, and then over here, this is the keyboard here. That's the controller that's controlling all of the monosynths, as well as this guy, which I think we're plugged into now. And again, more foot pedals, but which I love this. Just straight ahead sound. I got everything's wrapped up in, and this beautiful creature right here is the Behringer clone of an ARP 2600. I would love a 2500, but this is the 2600. Underneath that, if I press, I need to put this down. If I press Shift and 9 so this is channels 1 to 8 are the monosynths. 9 goes into my JV880, which is an older keyboard, but I used to do a lot of orchestral stuff, and so I bought the JV880 with an orchestral expansion unit in the early 90s. And yeah, so there is some better stuff that has come out since, but I mean, never mind a string machine. It actually sounds like strings. I don't have a brilliant selection. The slightly different strings, because I really like strings. What else have we got in there? Probably choir? Yeah. I guess that sounds kind of 80s or 90s because it's a 90s choir. And then just some weirdness. Whatever. Got all that shit going on. And then, finally, oh, down there. Oops, do I know? I don't know what that is. It just said stuff. Down there, I've got Katana, Boss Katana guitar amp, which is also hooked into the whole system. So I can play guitar now into the system. Now, finally, well, not finally, over here, still not plugged in, but creepy children's piano. Love this thing. I usually have a microphone in there. This is the final one. This is my Yamaha organ. Not my final. My Hammond organ is across the hall, and apparently I'm getting it back. So we'll be back to 3 organs. This is my Yamaha organ. There's a built-in rotating speaker, and if I want to do the rock out thing, I can do it. Even has bass pedals. But you know. Anyway, I'm here with the gals in the studio. I still have to hook up the cameras again, and yes, even though this was 3 solid days of repatching, moving things around and cleaning, I still haven't dusted off the guitars. The guitars need a dusting. But I will do that next. That, and I have to set up the cameras again, and I'm switching to a new system. I have been using for the last year. I paid a year in advance using Switcher, which I actually think is a great program. It only works on iOS devices, not even on Mac stuff, just on iOS devices. So your iPads and your iPhones. So I have two iPhones, an old one and a new one. I have 2 iPads, an old one and a new one. So I had a 4-camera thing, but I'm going to switch to something else because it's a little too expensive. I'm going to go switching to OBS, which I have to do this month. So that's my next thing. So even though this is all done, I have more to do, but I am going to set up all the cameras and everything. And I hope you enjoy all this. Insanity. My name is Candi. This is Candi-Land. Me and the featherheads. Me and the featherheads. And the other, you know, whatever. Anyway, who loves you, baby? This is not at all what I started doing. However, I've been at this for a few days, and at this point, I've had a very big bottle of wine. I'm a little drunk, and I forgot what I was doing. I think I just explained most of the equipment in the studio. Not what I planned on doing. I was just going to go, hey, look, I'm here. Anyway, who loves you, baby? Don't drink and drive. Yeah, that's about it. Ciao, ciao.